Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, watching this from home or wherever you may be. Mr. Dorfley here, and we are getting ready to conduct a lab that is going to experiment with acceleration. We learned about acceleration in section 2 of chapter 11, and we saw how acceleration can be calculated by taking the change in velocity, or sometimes speed, over the change in time it took to have that acceleration situation take place. And so today we're going to be using something that is tried and true over many decades, and we are going to use Matchbox cars. All right, so we've got Matchbox cars, we have track, and what you're going to do is, by now, hopefully, you should have already been able to obtain the the handout for this particular lab. Either you got it in the classroom or you got it through Google Classroom. Either way, you should have access to a copy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to just obtain data, and it'll be up to you to take that data and calculate it as required in the procedure and in the questions. Okay. Now, feel free to go through the procedure, which I encourage you to do because you should always do it before you conduct an experiment. But you should know that I will be kind of going through the procedure relatively quickly because I have kind of set some of the things up beforehand just to save a little bit of time. Okay. But one of the first things we need to do is we need to figure out how long our 4 sections of Matchbox car track, if you want to call it that, how long they are. Okay. Now, I tried to put all 4 pieces together and measure it, but my meter stick just isn't long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece, measure that, and then you can go ahead and multiply it by 4 to get our length here, because they are the same size track that we're putting together. So going to take my little camera here. Sorry if it's a little shaky. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to line up the part of the track here with the 20 because, as you see here, my ends are just not in very good shape. So I'm starting over here to where I know that 20 is a pretty good starting location. And I'm stopping here because that little lip that's right there, that's going to be part of, it's going to join up with the other track and it's not going to count in the length. Okay, so making sure everything's nice and lined up, starting at 20, going all the way over to this one, I see that my length of track is approximately 32 centimeters in length. Sorry for the camera work, everybody. I am an amateur at this. So each length of track is 32 centimeters. So go ahead and multiply that by 4, and you should place that answer right here below step number 9. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and connect my track pieces together. And for this first data table, I am simply using 2 textbooks. Okay. So taking a step back here so you can see my setup. Got my 2 textbooks right there. And we're going to put the block of wood right here. That way we'll know when to stop the timer. Okay. All right. Now this is going to take some trickery because this might be able to work because I'm the only one recording this right now and I have to use both hands to time this. So this is trial number 1. I'm going to get my phone out and then get my timer going. All right. So putting my Matchbox card right at the very top. And I'm going to hit the start button once I let go, and I'm going to stop it once it hits the wooden block. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, 1.62. That goes into your time slot for trial number 1 right there. Okay. Well, just like any good scientist, we are not going to stop at one trial. We're going to do 3 trials in total. So here comes trial number 2. 3, 2, 1, drop. 1.49. Go ahead and put that in trial 2. So again, 1.49. And here comes trial 3. 3, 2, 1, go. You know what? What I just did was a typical mistake. I hit the stop button before it even got to the end. So I'm going to reset that wood block, and I'm going to go again. 3, 2, 1, go. And that is better, 1.44. So that goes into your third box right there. Next, we are moving on to 4 textbooks, okay? So I'm going to put 4 textbooks on my desk, okay? You're going to get a little higher view of the setup here. Okay, so before I get this going, ask yourself or make a prediction what you think doubling the height from which we start our Matchbox car, what is that going to do, if anything, to the overall velocity as well as the acceleration, which is ultimately what we're doing. All right, resetting my time. So your data table for 4 textbooks is on the back side of this, okay? So again, putting it up the very top. 3, 2, 1, go. 1.05. If you also notice what happened to that wood block at the end, got pushed all the way over. Did not see that in the 2 textbook stack. Let's do this again. 3, 2, 1, go. 1.01. That is your, I guess, trial 5 here. 1.01. Last trial, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. 1.11. So, as you can see, while we are doing this, while we are manually running timers, we get some discrepancies in time. And we have to account for that when we are conducting experiments, okay? When we're setting up experiments, what do we need to have, okay? We got to think about, okay, how are we going to time our data? Well, if you're going to do it by hand, you're going to start seeing measurements that are going to be not quite the same from time to time. And that could be an issue of confidence in terms of how reliable our calculations might be. But for our sake, it's what we have, okay? Now, there can be some more sophisticated equipment, which we do have some of that, which we might use later on down the road, but it might give us more consistent timing in terms of starting and stopping our stopwatch. Well, anyway, you are to complete any and all calculations and questions on here and be on the lookout for when this will be due. We will be posting the due dates whenever that time gets closer. So just be prepared to have this done. We should have this done within a day. Doesn't really take too long, but just keep an eye out on Classroom. We'll make an announcement of when these are to be due. Have a good one. We'll see you later.